I spent 11 years building compost piles. Not casually, not occasionally, I mean seriously building them. I was turning them every 3 days like clockwork, checking the internal temperature with a probe thermometer, adjusting moisture levels, and carefully balancing greens and browns like I was running some kind of small-scale organic chemistry lab in my backyard. My neighbors thought I was dedicated. My wife thought I was slightly unhinged. And me? I genuinely believed I was doing everything right. I thought this was what responsible gardening looked like: effort, precision, control. Then one afternoon in 2019, something happened that completely shifted the way I see soil. I was digging a hole to plant a fig tree. Nothing unusual, just another weekend project. About 18 inches down, my shovel hit a layer of old wood chips, something I had dumped there and completely forgotten about maybe 2 years earlier. Out of curiosity, I kept digging, and what I found stopped me cold. The soil underneath was black. Not dark brown black. Loose, crumbly, almost fluffy. It smelled rich and alive, and it was absolutely full of earthworms. There was no system there, no turning schedule, no monitoring, no careful ratio of inputs. Just time, and soil doing what soil has always done. In 2 years, without any effort from me, that buried organic material had turned into something better than anything I had managed to produce in over a decade of work. That moment forced me to ask a very uncomfortable question. What if I had been solving a problem that didn't actually exist? Because the reality is, soil already knows how to feed itself. It has been doing that for around 450 million years. Long before compost bins, long before garden centers, long before any of us started trying to manage it. And yet today, we have an entire industry built around the idea that your soil needs help, that it needs to be fixed, improved, supplemented. That realization changes everything. What makes this even more interesting is that this isn't some new discovery. It's actually one of the oldest agricultural ideas on Earth. If you go back to Edo period Japan, farmers practiced something called green manuring. Instead of composting organic materials separately, they simply returned it directly to the soil. They weren't doing this because they didn't know better. They were doing it because, after generations of observation, they understood something we've largely forgotten. The soil ecosystem works best when it's left intact. These systems supported incredibly productive farmland for centuries without synthetic fertilizers or compost piles. Just continuous cycles of growth, decay, and renewal happening exactly where the plants were growing. Then, in the mid-20th century, everything shifted. After World War II, factories that had been producing materials for explosives, especially ammonium nitrate, needed a new purpose. That same chemistry was repurposed into synthetic fertilizers, and governments partnered with large chemical companies to distribute them at scale. Between 1950 and 1970, global fertilizer use increased dramatically, and with it came a new way of thinking. That soil is just a medium, and nutrients are something you add from the outside. But not everyone accepted that idea. A Japanese farmer named Masanobu Fukuoka saw what was happening and rejected it entirely. In his 1975 book One Straw Revolution, he described a system of farming with no tilling, no compost, and no chemical inputs, and his yields matched or even exceeded those of conventional farms. So what's actually happening beneath our feet? Because this is where things get interesting. Soil isn't just dirt, it's a living network. In a single teaspoon of healthy soil, you can find billions of bacteria, along with miles of fungal threads, known as mycelium, forming vast underground systems. These organisms aren't just present, they're active. They're constantly breaking down organic matter and converting it into forms that plants can use. Fungal networks physically connect decomposing material to plant roots, creating a direct exchange system. Plants supply fungi with sugars produced through photosynthesis, and in return, fungi deliver nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. It's a closed loop, highly efficient and finely tuned. When you build a compost pile, you remove organic material from that system, process it separately, and then return it later. It sounds logical, but in doing so, you interrupt a system that was already optimized. Research suggests that when organic matter decomposes directly in the soil, it can retain significantly more nitrogen than when it is composted above ground. That nitrogen doesn't evaporate or wash away as easily. It moves directly through fungal networks into plant roots. Compost piles, for all the effort they require, bypass that natural pathway. That said, this method isn't perfect in every situation. In heavy clay soils with poor drainage, burying large amounts of organic material can create low oxygen conditions that may harm roots. In colder climates, decomposition slows down significantly during winter, meaning nutrients may not become available as quickly. These are real limitations, and it's important to acknowledge them. But for most home gardeners, especially in temperate regions with reasonably well-draining soil, the evidence points in a very clear direction. And that direction is down. Long-term studies have shown that soils rich in in-ground organic matter hold more water, support more biodiversity, and can match or outperform conventional systems, particularly during drought conditions. There's also the question of carbon. Compost piles are aerobic systems, which means they release carbon dioxide as organic material breaks down. A significant portion of that carbon can be lost to the atmosphere. When organic matter is buried instead, much more of that carbon stays in the soil, becoming part of stable organic matter that can remain for years or even decades. Every time you turn a compost pile, you also disrupt the microbial communities inside it. Soil that is left undisturbed, on the other hand, becomes more complex and resilient over time. It builds a richer ecosystem, one that supports plant health more effectively in the long run. So what can you actually do with all of this? The simplest method is called trench composting. Instead of building a pile, you dig a trench directly in your garden, about 12 inches deep. You fill it with organic material, kitchen scraps, plant waste, coffee grounds, grass clippings, and then cover it with soil. That's it. No beans, no turning, no monitoring. Within 6 to 8 weeks, that material breaks down right where your plants can access it. You can also use variations like the pit method, where you gradually fill a single hole over time, or chop and drop, where you cut plant material and leave it on the soil surface as mulch. Together, these approaches create a system that largely runs itself. No complicated routines, no constant inputs, just a simple shift in perspective. Stop removing organic matter from your garden and start returning it. Because the truth is simple. Your soil isn't broken. It never was. It doesn't need to be fixed. It just needs you to stop interrupting the process that has been working perfectly for millions of years.